Developing this morning, the APS school board is meeting again to decide what to do about the district's new superintendent. They've met twice so far, but they have yet to announce if he'll keep his job.
Yeah, this is expected to take place in just a few hours. The school board will again hold another closed-door session to make that call. That's where we find News 13's Catherine Mazzone. She's live outside APS headquarters this morning. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. That's right. They met last Sunday and again on Thursday. But when they opened the doors on Thursday after more than 4 hours behind closed doors, this is what APS board president Don Duran had to say.
The board will be setting a meeting for Monday at 7 a.m. in which time a final determination regarding this review will be made.
And that's about all Duran would say, except that he believes they're acting proactively to make a decision on the matter. But parents and citizens weren't satisfied. It's all over the hiring of APS Deputy Superintendent Jason Martinez and the fact he never completed a background check. Martinez is behind bars in Denver, where he's charged with molesting 2 boys 2 years ago. He was out on bond when Valentino hired him, but Martinez wasn't supposed to leave Colorado. Valentino claims he only heard about the fact no background check had been done twice, once when Martinez was hired and once when he resigned. APS's HR director says they told Valentino at least 5 times. Now, only 6 board members are expected to vote on the decision because board member Peggy Mueller-Aragon has been sitting out. She says it's because she believes these meetings should be transparent and open to the public. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Catherine. And that could make coming up with a decision pretty difficult if there's a tie 3-3. That meeting again begins at 7 o'clock this morning. We'll be following the story for you all day long. Remember, we'll have full coverage of the school board's decision later today. You can also go to our KRQE News app for the full interview with Luis Valentino and for the timeline of the most recent APS superintendents.
3 minutes past the hour happening today, jury selection is expected to begin for the Albuquerque man charged in connection with the death of his 9-year-old stepson. Stephen Casaus is going on trial for child abuse, accused of child abuse resulting in death and tampering with evidence. Prosecutors say Omari Varela was kicked to death by his mother in 2013 and Casaus did nothing to stop it. Cynthia Varela Casaus, Omari's mother, will stand trial separately. She was just sent back to jail after a short stay in a mental hospital. Her case is now on hold while it's determined if she's competent to stand trial.
We turn out to this morning. We're still waiting to hear from Secretary of State Diana Duran after the state's Attorney General dropped a bombshell last week, accusing her of embezzlement and money laundering. Attorney General Hector Balderas handed down the charges on Friday, accusing Duran of burning through her campaign funds at local casinos. Now, according to the criminal complaint, Duran made massive transfers of money from campaign-related accounts to personal accounts. Those transfers were often followed by large withdrawals from New Mexico casinos.
And here's a situation. You have someone in a high public place with a public trust. How do you expect to not get caught doing stuff like this?
And that's what a lot of people are saying this morning. Duran's recent Secretary of State opponent, Maggie Toulouse-Oliver, released a statement over the weekend hoping for a swift and fair resolution to this matter. We've reached out to Secretary Duran. We have yet to hear back from her.
We did some checking, though, this morning and found the man police say was in a deadly DWI crash that killed his friend remains locked up. Authorities say it happened on Thursday near Sandia Casino after 3 men were asked to leave the casino for being disruptive. They say the driver, 21-year-old Anselmo Diaz, was drinking, hit a pole, and flipped. 23-year-old Andrew Rael was killed. Diaz and another passenger escaped with minor injuries. Deputies say Diaz was driving on a revoked license for a prior DWI charge. Yesterday in court, the judge set his bond at $50,000 cash only. On to News this morning. Police say they're looking for 2 new suspects connected with the deadly bombing in Bangkok 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, police have released a photo of the woman's ID right there. Police are looking for a Thai woman and a foreign man of unknown nationality. The bombing at a shrine in central Bangkok left 20 people dead. Take a look at your TV screens right here. That's what it looked like. More than 120 people were wounded in this. This morning, an airport in New Jersey is back open after being shut down when a man made his way into a secure hallway, prompting an evacuation. According to a Port Authority Police Department spokesman, the incident happened around 7 yesterday. He says the man entered the off-limits hallway through an exit door where he was confronted by Customs and Border Protection agents. Police and canines, they did a security sweep of that area. The terminal was then reopened shortly after that. New this morning, we're hearing from the parents of slain journalist Allison Parker and Adam Ward.
Yeah, they're now calling for what they say could be common sense gun laws. Allison's parents are calling for laws to prevent mentally disturbed people from buying guns, and they say they're not taking no for an answer.
That's the only thing that's given me strength right now to go to take on this cause, because, you know, I know that somewhere she'd be looking down and saying, "You go, Dad. This is what she would want me to do."
Meanwhile, the family of slain cameraman Adam Ward will hold a private visitation today.
Happening today, the man charged with the shooting death of a suburban Houston sheriff's deputy is scheduled to be arraigned today. Shannon Miles is charged with capital murder in the death of Darren Goforth, a 10-year veteran, while he was filling up his gas tank. Authorities called the shooting, quote, clearly unprovoked. And we start with news happening today. The APS school board meets again to decide what to do about the district's new superintendent. They've met twice so far, but have yet to announce if he will keep his job.
In just hours now, the school board will hold another closed-door session to make the call, and that's where we find News 13's Catherine Mazzone. She's live outside APS headquarters with the latest for us. Catherine?
Good morning. Now, if you look behind me, you can already see some people gathering here. Now, this is expected to be, again, the last meeting that they've had. There was one last Sunday and again on Thursday, but when they opened the doors on Thursday, after about 4 hours behind closed doors, this is what Board President Don Duran had to say.
The board will be setting a meeting for Monday at 7 a.m., in which time a final determination regarding this review will be made.
Now, that's about all Duran would say, except that he believes they're acting proactively to make a decision on the matter. Parents and citizens weren't satisfied. It's all over the hiring of APS Deputy Superintendent Jason Martinez and the fact he never completed a background check. Martinez was behind bars in Denver, where he's charged with molesting 2 boys 2 years ago. He was on bond when Valentino hired him, but Martinez wasn't supposed to ever leave Colorado. Valentino claims he only heard about the fact no background check had been done twice, once when Martinez was hired and once when he resigned. But APS's HR department says they told Valentino at least 5 times. Now, only 6 board members are expected to make a decision today. That's because board member Peggy Mueller-Aragon has been sitting out of these meetings. It's because she says she believes these should be transparent and open to the public. Back to you.
Catherine, thank you. That meeting again reconvenes at about 7 o'clock this morning. We'll be following this story all day for you as developments come in. We'll have full coverage of the school board's decision later today. You can also go to the KRQE News app for the full interview with Valentino and for the timeline of the most recent APS superintendents.
We turn now to this morning. The man accused of touching himself in a park with kids close by still locked up. We must warn you, some of the pictures you're about to see could be disturbing for some. A woman snapped this picture of the fondling suspect, 35-year-old Jason Galloway, Wednesday afternoon near the park's playground. KRQE News 13 saw him there again the very next day. And this is not Galloway's first run-in with the law. He's already wanted for similar behavior. In fact, back in May, he was arrested for failing to appear in court for another indecent exposure case. Yesterday, he tried to convince a judge that he has done nothing wrong. Take a listen.
I have an injury on my penis, and I was holding my penis inside my britches.
Now, police say he could end up facing a felony charge for Wednesday's indecent exposure because it did involve a child.
Time now 6:34. Albuquerque police say the machine that they use to test the blood of suspected drunk drivers is not working right now. That machine, in fact, hasn't worked for about 5 weeks, according to the Albuquerque Journal. APD says that issue won't affect the majority of cases, though, because police do breath tests about 95% of the time. The department says they've already hired Agilent Technologies to fix the machine and should have it back up this week. The DA's office says they haven't seen any cases being dismissed because of that issue.
We turn out to news happening today. This morning, emergency centers in Florida are staying open around the clock as the remnants of Tropical Storm Erica have prompted flash flood warnings there. Forecasters say there could be several more inches of rain, and rip currents are still possible in the Carolinas. The conditions could last several more days. Over the weekend, Erica's crashing waves beat away at the coast in Palm Beach, leaving a 3 to 5 foot cliff. The storm dumped more than 15 inches of rain in parts of the Caribbean, killing at least 20 people on the island of Dominica. We move on to this. Hawaiians are awaiting the arrival of Hurricane Ignacio. Right now, The Category 3 hurricane is moving north of the Hawaiian Islands in the Pacific Ocean. Forecasters say the storm is weakening, but high winds and heavy rain, they're expected to still hit the Hawaii and Maui areas tonight, possibly tomorrow. We're also keeping tabs on newly formed Hurricane Fred, now spinning off the coast of Africa.
And happening today, President Obama travels to Alaska to talk about how climate change is affecting that state. By the way, he'll be the first sitting U.S. president to visit Alaska. Over the weekend, the Obama administration announced that it is officially renaming the tallest mountain in North America, Mount McKinley. It'll now be known as Denali, meaning the high one. That's a name that Alaska natives have always used for the mountain.
New this morning, a big incentive set up to keep APD officers on the force and to keep them happy is causing a big rift between those patrolling the streets and those in high-ranking positions. That's according to the Albuquerque Journal. Retention bonuses were intended to keep officers who are eligible to stay on the force, but bonuses for rank-and-file officers ended back in July. And while the city and union officials negotiate what to do with the money allocated for the bonus program, there are at least 19 officers holding high-ranking positions still receiving their bonuses. The Journal reports that has struck a chord among those at the police union, but according to the Journal, APD says those bonuses are continuing for command staff because they are not part of the bargaining unit that's being negotiated as part of the officer's contract with the city. The rank-and-file officers' bonuses are still being evaluated in negotiations at this time.
And here at home this morning, authorities in the Metro Detention Center are investigating how a DWI suspect died in their custody. According to MDC, that person was found just before they were about to be released. Jail officials say the inmate, whose name's not been released, was booked on Saturday. Guards then found the inmate unresponsive early Sunday morning. Paramedics were called, but they were unable to revive that inmate. Santa Fe police are looking into how a man died after collapsing in the middle of the street. Police say they have responded, or they did respond to a call about 5:30 yesterday morning about a man wandering on Cerrillos Road yelling and banging on doors. They say the man was dead when they arrived. A witness reported seeing him collapse. Police shut down traffic on eastbound Cerrillos Road from Zaffarano Drive to Camino Carlos Rey. That area is back open, though, this morning.
The Deflategate saga continues this morning, but we could soon see the end of the scandal. New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady and league commissioner Roger Goodell, they're expected in court today for a status conference. Brady is questioning the legality of his 4-game suspension after the NFL said he purposely played with deflated balls during last year's Super Bowl. A judge has warned both sides to come to a deal on this. If they don't, he plans to have the case settled himself by Friday.
Also happening today, the U.S. Treasurer is in New York to host an open house on putting a woman on the $10 bill. There, the public will be able to weigh in on who they think should go on the bill. The Treasurer's office made that announcement about the redesign in June, and the department says they're going to have their final decision this fall and debut the new bill in 2020. That's the 100-year anniversary of women getting the right to vote.
I wonder who it's going to be. Pretty exciting, right? Yeah. So across the world, the talk this morning is Japan winning the title in the Little League World Series. In New Mexico, though, everyone is talking about a local lawmaker who was in the game. Corrales Senator John Sapien was the second base umpire for yesterday's championship clash between Japan and Pennsylvania. He's one of 16 umpires from across the country that have been working this year's tournament in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Japan did win. Game ended 18-11.
18-11, that's high score.
Several home runs, one after another from both teams.
Exciting to watch, and I'm sure exciting to be there for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Love it.